from Black Business Boom and Black Owned Nashville, and we are live with Harry Allen from Studio Bank, who has a wealth of knowledge in all things banking. And I'm just so happy to have Harry as one of our experts and coming to help us in our community to become bankable. So today we're going to be talking about what Black business owners can do to become bankable and to be able to go to a bank and get the funding that they need to be able to grow. Welcome, Harry. How are you?
I am fantastic. It's a little warm outside, but it's cool indoors, so I'm doing well. Thank you.
I tell you, I'm not going to complain because next thing you know, it's going to be 30 degrees. So I'm just going to enjoy it. Well, this is a topic that I think is so important. There is definitely a capital gap when it comes to Black business owners being able to access the capital they need to grow and scale their small businesses. But what I'm noticing is that there are a lot of opportunities that have been coming up over the last few years. People are starting to recognize that there is a capital gap, making capital available. But many times the business owners are not positioned to be able to go and apply for and obtain that capital. So let's get into some things that business owners should be thinking about if they are planning for growth in their businesses. So let's jump into some steps that we can be taking, Harry. What is the first thing that a business owner should be thinking about if they're thinking about future growth and they may need to obtain funding?
Yep. And I'll ask a clarifying question before I answer. When you say funding, are you talking about all types, debt and equity, or?
That's a great question. So we actually, and I was just telling Harry, we just launched our Boom Into the Bank program this week, where we teach business owners how to become bankable. But we do talk about all different types of funding because bank funding, traditional bank funding, is not the only type of funding that is available. And so there are, equity investors out there, angel investing opportunities and VC funding. So there's a lot of opportunities out there. But let's talk about the bank because you are the banker.
Look, I was ready to step in any way you wanted to go.
Let's talk about it.
Talk about banking.
A lot of times the bank is going to be the hardest place that you can go.
And I will tell you why. A lot of folks don't understand, and bankers don't talk about the model enough. But the capital that we are investing in businesses when you get a business loan comes from primarily the deposits that are held within the bank. And so we're not investing our money into the business that applies for a loan. We're investing our depositors' checking accounts into businesses. And because that's the model, we have to underwrite in a way that gives us 99.9% confidence that the money that we're going to outlay is going to come back to us, so that our depositors are made whole. So banks can't take a lot of risk, Danielle. And so when you talk about, what are the steps a business owner should be making to make sure they're bankable, it's demonstrated success and cash flow on a consistent basis for about 3 years is a baseline, requirement for a business loan. So a bank is not the best source of startup capital. Even early stage, less than 3 years is a little bit risky. And to assess capacity, it's really tax returns, the last 3 years tax returns. So making sure your books are in order and you've got a CPA that's involved in preparing your financial statements is probably step one. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think what I've been seeing a lot of business owners running into as we've been working with the Nashville Small Business Recovery Fund and helping business owners to apply for both grant and loan funding through that program. One of the very simple requirements is that you be able to present a voided check from your business bank account.
Yeah.
So, that's something that seems very simple. that a lot of business owners are commingling funds using their personal business
Yep.
account or their
Yep.
personal account
Yep.
for their business expenses. And
Yep.
so
All right.
they're not able to, present a business bank account. Therefore, they do not have QuickBooks or
Financial statements. Yeah.
exactly. They can't pull any financial statements. They
Nope.
can't present the tax returns. And
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
those are some of the things that, need to happen.
Yep. That's right.
Or very early on, if
Yep.
possible.
Yep.
And so
Right.
even if you're super early on in your business, sometimes we're not thinking long term. We're just like, it's a little hustle, hopefully I'll make a few dollars. But, again, with the Nashville Small Business Recovery Fund, they're looking back a few years and you maybe weren't thinking about what will happen in 2022 and 2019.
That's
and
right.
So we have to start thinking about the future.
Yep.
So I know there are some other things that bankers are looking at. So tell me some of the other things that the bankers
that's the first step, because, to determine capacity, we're going to look backwards first. And so those financial statements will give the bank a picture of where the business has been. The second piece, and it talks about forward looking, right? So what is the business plan? Where is the business going? What is the experience of the operator? How long have you been in this industry? Have you looked at the competitive landscape? How are you differentiated from other folks that are doing what you're doing? And why do you think you're going to be successful and provide a return on this investment that the bank or other investors are making into the business? So what's the business plan?
Yeah, and I tell you, that's one thing that an investor or a bank is going to want to see, And so sometimes when we hear business plan, we're thinking a formal 30, 40-page business plan, but it doesn't always have to be that.
It does not. No, talk about you, why you've started the business, give us some background on who our borrower is, and then a little bit of what the landscape and opportunity of it is. If I honestly don't have time to read 40 pages, so keep it simple and concise, and it should facilitate a conversation, Danielle. A good banker is not just going to ask you to submit it by email and then circle back with an answer. There's going to be a dialogue and exchange. So what can you present to walk us through where the business is going is probably the best approach for a business plan.
Yeah, because I would think, and this is just me as an individual. Like if somebody's like, I need $50 from you, I want to know, like, how you gonna get my $50 back? Like, if you don't have it today, how are you gonna have it in 2 weeks? So what's the plan for you to get the $50 to be able to pay me back? So it makes sense for a bank to want to know, like, what is the plan for you?
Yeah. And using that example, because it's not even your $50 that they're asking for. So it's like, I'm asking Danielle for her mom's $50, right? And you definitely need to make sure your mom gets her.
If my mama is watching this, like when I tell you, if somebody asks me to borrow my mama's $50, you better have a great plan on how you gonna give Robin her money back, because she is not playing no games about it.
So our regulators want to make sure that the lending decisions we're making are sound, because it's not our capital.
And that makes sense, because banking is such a heavily regulated industry as well. So it's not like, you don't have auditors and people who are actually hovering over and watching the decisions that you're making as well. Yeah.
So the third thing,
all right, let's go on to the next one.
Yep. So we've talked about financials, historical financials, some, projections and business planning. The next thing that comes to my mind is identifying the collateral. And so, does the business on its balance sheet or the individual business owner on their personal assets and liabilities have a secondary source of repayment that can be identified? If we're lending for a piece of equipment, then that piece of equipment is likely going to be the collateral. But if it's working capital, you just need, say you just landed a big contract, but it's going to require you to make an investment and hire a person to fulfill that contract. Well, there's no hard asset in that equation to take as collateral. So what, does the business owner or does the business have in terms of a secondary source of repayment, so that if cash flow doesn't pay us back, we can liquidate an asset? And we don't want to, but when you come to a bank for capital, they're going to pledge an interest in an asset for collateral.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, as a former banker, I know that banks do not want to come and have to take your stuff. There's a whole process, like they really do not want to have to go through that process of having to come and take your stuff. There's a lot of people involved and a whole lot of things that have to happen for that to happen. So I know that's not something.
We just have to demonstrate that we've identified it. If the deal blows up, that we have a secondary source of repayment. But you're exactly right. The bank is not in the business. If you're a restaurant, and you've bought a food truck, well, we don't know how to sell a food truck to another restaurant.
I don't want to be owned in an oven,
No ma'am.
Fantastic. What else, Harry?
Yeah. So I think partners come to mind. So what is the team around an entrepreneur look like, and are you well situated from that standpoint? The bank can help you with that in terms of making introductions. Most bankers are well networked and know where to find marketing support and all of that. If you don't have a team around you, but we've talked about the individual operator or owner, but I think confidence can be built by presenting who else around you are advisors. A lot of large organizations or more established businesses think about advisory boards. I don't know why more small businesses don't think about 2 to 3 folks who are advisors and including their expertise and bios in the business plan. That's, it's not a bad idea and can add additional comfort and credibility.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Having great advisors, it adds credibility if you're going to look for funding. But man, a lot of times we're out here trying to figure a lot of things out ourselves, and it's just really great to have advisors.
Nobody does it alone,
It's so great to be able to call folks and just be like, hey, can I ask you a question? Or do you know this person? Can you introduce me to this person? It's so great having a team of advisors.
Yep. And I would say, we've talked about accountant and attorney is a good one, to have in your circle. And, maybe an entrepreneur or mentor, as well can be helpful.
Absolutely.
But yeah.
So let's talk about credit before we wrap up, because I know you're going to pull the credit.
So yes. Yeah. So the business financials will give us a picture of how, sound the business is. But as an owner, your personal credit, and I talked about collateral and your personal balance sheet coming into play as well. So make sure as you're building your business, your personal house is also in order, because a bank will absolutely pull that into the equation. Yeah.
Are you all pulling business credit as well? Because I've seen a lot of talk about business credit in the last couple of years. It's one of those trendy topics right now. So are you all actually pulling the business credit?
At Studio Bank, we are not. We're building a business credit profile based on the financials of the business. Okay. There are scoring platforms out there. But our bank is much more relationship oriented, and so there's a lot of dialogue and conversation that a score doesn't always give with a business. Now, because of consumer lending laws, a consumer or individual's credit score gives you a whole lot of information, right? Business information on a private business isn't as robust as what we have on the individual side. So there are banks that will advertise a really quick decision. We'll give you a loan decision in 2 hours if you. basically pulling a business score.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. This was very, very helpful, Harry. I love it. This was very helpful for the business owners that are tuned in, I'm sure. And you all have amazing things going on over at Studio Bank, some great loan products available for Black-owned businesses.
Specifically for Black-owned businesses. Yeah.
So how can folks find out about the loan products that you have available right now for Black-owned businesses?
Yep. So I don't know if you're able to drop my email in the chat, but folks are welcome to email me, Amelia Watts. I think you have her email as well, probably. So drop both of our emails in there, and we'd be happy to connect. We have 2 specific loan programs for Black-owned businesses. In March of this year, last year, we added SBA capabilities to Studio Bank's platform. We have partnerships with community CDFIs, community development financial institutions. So whether it's a program of ours or a product we're selling or somebody we know in the community, we love matching resources to Black-owned businesses. It is, part of why we started Studio Bank, to intentionally serve all of Nashville. And I'm excited about where this city is and the amount of entrepreneurial activity in the space. I know you're wrapping up this whole platform, but this has been important. And I'm glad you've invited us to be a part of getting information out.
Yeah. I'm super, super happy to have had Studio Bank as one of our very first partners. Like, it's been amazing to have you all. I'm always going to be here to get the information out to the community, and I appreciate you all for being a partner and doing that. Again, the website is right there in the caption, studiobank.com. My bank, where I have my business bank account. I'm constantly telling folks, if you want a bank for your business, go to Studio Bank. But also, if you are looking to fund the growth of your business, Studio Bank is here to support Black business owners in doing that. Harry and Amelia have been amazing in supporting the Black business community, and we just greatly appreciate you, Harry.
No, it's an honor, and we've been growing because we've served people well, and they've done exactly what you just did and told other people.
Yeah,
I love it. A ton of money on marketing, like it's just.
I love it.
Yeah. So
we are, like I said, I'm honored to be a partner, and I'm just excited to see the growth of Studio Bank and to be growing right along with you all.
There you go.
And to see Black businesses growing right along with the bank as well. So
please, when you start a business,
the opportunity.
Right. If I can just reinforce anything, it's the bookkeeping side. Get it out of your personal checking account, open a business checking account. We offer a free business checking account, so it's not even that, hard and doesn't cost you anything. And start to build the financial profile of
that is, again, I tell people, just to reinforce that here, like I opened my business bank account with Studio Bank back in 2018 when I first started Black Business Boom, 2019, early 2019. Connected it to QuickBooks. It was just sitting there. I wasn't reconciling, wasn't doing anything, right? But it was connected. It was happening. And I was able to, at some point, go and get my bookkeeper. They were able to go back and reconcile because I at least put the systems in place for it to happen, right? And so if you at least put those systems in place, if you don't quite do everything every month the way you're supposed to, you at least setting yourself up for success for someone to go back and help you at least get on track when you need to, right? So at least get the business bank account, get QuickBooks Wave, something set up so that you can at least go back and reconcile if you need to. You can always go back and file your taxes if you need to, so if you're not
have the system in place.
Exactly. Get the bank account. Get the QuickBooks, get it connected. Just start there. And then you can always go back and fix it. If you at least start there. I'm transparent about it. Was just sitting there for 2 years and I was like, oh, I gotta file taxes and I've not done anything. hired a company, paid
Yeah.
them $1,500 to go
Yep.
back and fix 2 years worth of
No
not
worries.
reconciling. And I know the things that I should be doing, but
Right,
that doesn't
right,
mean we
right,
always
right.
do it, right? But
Yeah.
I was at least position myself to be
Yeah.
able to go and fix the things because I put the systems in place, right?
That's exactly right.
And that was when it was PPP time, and I was
Oh,
like,
gosh,
"Oh, I'm
yeah.
not about to miss this
Yeah.
money. I gotta
Yeah.
hurry up and,
But
and
some
get it."
people did because they didn't have the basic
Yeah.
financial information to provide.
Yeah. Alan Wilson was like, "Girl, you got to miss this money." I was like, "I didn't file my taxes." And I was like, "You know what? But I got everything set up,
Nice.
and I was able to get with Amelia and get my PPP money through Studio Bank."
There
Right?
you go. There you go.
At least, at the very least, go ahead, get your business bank account again. Free business bank accounts at
Yep.
Studio Bank, located
Yep.
right on
Yep.
is it 14th Street.
12th.
12th. I'm like, I should know
Yeah.
the address.
All right.
In Nashville. Get your business bank account set up. Get it set up and connected to QuickBooks for $12 a month.
Yeah.
Spend that money, get it connected, at least get your systems in place. And then when another PPP or Nashville Small Business Recovery Fund, whatever it is, comes around, you'll at least be positioned to take advantage of these opportunities.
And I will say, I've seen companies, individuals, foundations, and other banks get more interested in figuring out how to close this capital gap. And so I think more programs are going to
come. They're coming.
So we need to get organized, and be ready. And, if I can be a resource and review a business plan or wherever you are, even if you're not applying for a loan, if I can be a resource, let me know.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Harry.
No
this was
problem.
wonderful. Have a wonderful weekend. And I appreciate you so much for being a resource for our community.
Sounds good. Take care.